Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Hear Our Voices podcast. This is your host, Kay Did. Thank you for coming back to us and listening to the podcast. So, please follow us on social media on Twitter at Hear Our Voices. Everything will be down below. I feel like we have different variations depending on what platform we actually are on. We have a TikTok, we have an Instagram, we have a Facebook account. So if you want to, help your people out and listen to different things and also get job updates. There's a lot of job fairs happening and sometimes it's hard to find certain things. So we do share the information online so people could, have a job. Sometimes it's hard to get certain things that you need without a job. Like, honestly, it's hard to get anything that you need without a job. So we do give out job informations online and things like that. It's not hiring through us per se, but it's usually hiring through other organizations that are having job fairs and things like that. So please come out and check us out. See you next time. Bye. If you could change a process in the voucher, if you could, I don't know who's listening. Different offices listen to this podcast, but if you can give an advice about what they should change about CityFHEPs and what things they should take out or just put in or to kind of help, because from what I've seen, the package is like this big. It's like basically, you know how if you ever bought a house before, you sign a lot of paperwork for houses. It's like you're buying an apartment, but you can't keep it. That's what it's like, honestly, because it's so much paperwork you got to sign. It's ridiculous.
Honestly, they paid like 17 grand for me to get into here because when on my app for my public assistance case, I can see that they paying sending the money over. Like today, I was looking like they just sent my landlord, $1,533, and I'm like, it says something about CityFHEPs monthly. Hold on, wait, let me look back at it. I'm sorry, I want to be able to say the right thing. I don't want to say the wrong thing. One
But I
second.
know what you mean. In the HRA, it's access HRA. They usually have payments,
Mhm.
anything with they, because even like they have like a little sector for CDFAPs, but they usually have the food stamps money. If they see it, if you have cash assistance, it usually tells you each. Don't show it though, so people don't see that part. But you can tell us
No,
about
no,
it.
no. I just wanted to make sure that I knew the right name of it.
Right.
I had took a screenshot of it because I wanted to have some notes and stuff so I could be able to, explain like the things that I be seeing and like, is it like really, like, is that for the month of the rent or is that partial of their rent? I be confused sometimes because it's a lot of payments going on. My payment, they payment, and I just like wanted to know
Well,
like is that
how long have you been in your apartment?
I've been in my apartment since October. It
And
makes 4 months on the 8th. Well, it make 4 months this month on the 18th.
have they been paying it regularly? To be honest, on time.
Um, I haven't seen I haven't seen like no payments going through to them. So that's why I was like, do they just post it once in a blue, or is it being sent?
If it's through HRA, you will see all the payments that they do. And whatever's there, that's what they have done so far. So if you look, guys, if you have the app and you're looking, I'm just trying to, we ask questions because we don't know the answers for it, right? But any
Uh-huh.
payments they make out is supposed to be in the app. That's what they tell you. It's supposed to be in the app. If it's not there, it has not been paid out yet. But if they pay that 17,000, like you said, that may be also backup rent and then rent for ahead of time kind of thing. It depends on how
Mm-hmm.
your case, everybody's case is different, so I can't, sugarcoat it for everybody, but that's how it is. And usually, like example, cash assistance pays out twice
Mm-hmm.
a month, so you'll see two different ones on there.
Yeah.
When you do, I live in NYCHA. When I used to have it,
Mhm.
I don't got no more. It's kind of tight. I want some food stamp money, but it is what it is. And with the way that
Uh-huh.
food is going up, I'm like, man. But when you have food stamps, it only shows once because they pay you a lump sum for that month. When you have cash assistance and shelter allowance, they pay it. They usually put it in two smaller payments and pay it. I want to say around the first or 15th of the month. Like if you're
Okay.
getting a real paycheck. But CFMs, I don't know if they're gonna pay this one time. It's kind of weird, but usually housing allowance is twice a month. But it might
Okay.
because it's a bigger, maybe a bigger one to pay it, depending on how much your rent is. So if your rent is, if you just say example, your rent is $5,000, and for a fact that your portion is 500 of that 5,000, and if that money they're paying it adds up to that, the rest of that money, so it'll be, oh my god, 4,500, right? So if you only see 1,000 out of that money, that means they had to still pay up the more for that one. And that's kind of how the math kind of goes with that. So if you see a thing, you're kind of confused, you know, calculate like that. And also from what I hear with CityFHEPs, they're just behind. It's just, I feel like they're behind almost till you're about to recertify again. They want to get it together. So, if you need help, go to another. It sounds crazy because home base right now it's a lot.
Oh my God, they are the worst. Don't get me started, but I can say that the home base that I was at, it wasn't like how everybody else home base was. They did answer their phones. They did communicate. The case managers communicated. They let me know everything from point A to point B. I did have some problems with some people in home base that I had to, call 311 on. But
As
you
you
know,
should. Like I be telling y'all, as you
that's
should.
one thing I encourage people to do. Like if you feel like somebody's trying to take advantage of you in this situation with the vouchers and stuff like that, or you feel like somebody's being discriminated against you, use the numbers and the sources. Some of the numbers that they give for CityFHEPs does not work.
Right.
But you can find other ways. 311, 611, 711, whatever one that y'all use, to get your point across. Because, in this time of trying to find, you have people that's out here just taking people money, not letting them in the apartment, and you got kids that needs to, be in a place and they just taking people money and not coming through for them. Because I know that happened to a few people that their money got taken and they wasn't even in a place. So that was like a scare for me too, because I'm like, imagine I get caught like that and I pay my little partial money and everybody else pay theirs, and I don't get into their. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
But I just, try to be on point, look into the person. That's why I try not to do so much internet stuff like Zillow, rental assistance, turbo tenant, and stuff like that. I try not to do so much of those because, I can't tell if this person is real or fake. And then they be asking for like personal information that you're not willing to share.
Right.
But you're like, dang, I need a place, so let me try to share it. And that's not what you want to do.
Right. I think also we need to look at the red flags a little bit when we do these kind of things. We have to really say, is this reasonable? I feel like now the prices are not reasonable, but but beyond that, can I see the apartment? Before in Corona, we couldn't really go in, but we want to see a picture, we want to see a Zoom call. The picture of the site is not enough. I need to see something current of what's happening in this apartment. When you go in, when you first move in too, this is another thing. Take video and pictures of what you're doing. You might do a walkthrough, but take a video and picture of everything, because when you leave, it might be a problem. Oh, this crack wasn't there, but no, this crack was there 2 years ago. I promise you. I have the video proof of it. And put it in a place that you can find it. Like, if you lose your phone, it still should be on Google somewhere saved, just in case you have to go to court. People don't think of those things, and if a month happening and all of a sudden you see mold, the mold didn't just come out of nowhere. They probably painted over that mold. You just didn't realize it until a month later and just trying to see through the paint. It's these small, minute things that we take advantage. Like, we don't think about. No, look at everything. In public housing, I really don't care that
Honestly,
public
because
housing.
I wish I would have did that too. Because if I know that my neighbors upstairs bang and play music and drag furniture across the floors, I would have never been here. Now, remind you, I got kids. I got kids myself, and they very wild. But I try to keep them to a certain minimum, even though I don't live over nobody's head. I'm the bottom person. But at the end of the day, like if I knew that these neighbors made as much as noise that they made, I would never, I would have never moved in here. And then they mind you, when they tell you not to take on a utility bill or a gas bill, please, people, listen to them. Listen to them. If they say everything is included, make sure that everything is included.
Right.
Don't be fast to take on a light bill or a gas bill. Trust me, I made that mistake.
Yeah, these are a lot of things I think honestly should be taught in school. Because we just out here in the world just getting got, and it could have been stopped. We in math class. I'm not saying we don't need algebra, but I never used algebra in real life. I would love to know how to take care of a home, like, and not just like, oh, cleaning your home and cooking. No, how to put on light bill, how to make sure if I have a voucher, do I put this? There's some vouchers included, some vouchers don't include it with the light bill. These are things that people should just honestly know. But how can you know unless you're being taught, unless your parents are teaching you? But sometimes some parents don't get the time to teach you because they have all these other things, and it's like all of a sudden, man, now I'm in my apartment, no light, no water. I'm like, dang, this is a problem right here. So I feel like it's a lot of different things. With the landlords, make sure you know a little bit about them, as she said. Maybe honestly, sometimes if you can Google a certain name and see if they are come up as scammer names, because people sometimes use it when they scamming. Sometimes they're not that smart to change their name all the time. So you want to look at these persons and know what the people are about.
And what's so crazy is that I never met my landlord. I don't know what he looked like. I don't know anything. I don't have a direct account to put my money in to pay him. I have to mail it out every month. I wrote a letter like in the back of my money order, like folded up in the money order. Like, please, can somebody contact me? I need to speak to you. I have not spoken to a landlord. I'm dealing with a super and a plumber. I'm
Do
dealing
you
with a
have
super and a
receipts?
plumber to a point that I'm about to start holding my rent because there's things that's in this apartment that needs to be done,
Right.
and nobody is coming forward to do it. Now, as long as I got all these rent checks stacked up, there's
Right.
nothing y'all can do to me.
Right.
There's nothing y'all can do to me.
That's
And
a
then
good thing too. People do that also, which it works for a lot of people, to be honest. Another thing is when you have a situation, I tell people, first of all, you shouldn't be paying no rent and money. That's what I personally believe. But sometimes you gotta do things under the table, especially if you're undocumented, you might not have a bank account, so you have to do certain things. But do money orders, because when you do the money order, you get a little tear off thingy, and you can keep that.
I
And if you
keep
don't want to
all
keep
of
it in your
those.
apartment in case they break in, because people crazy. You can put it somewhere else where you think is safe, or even get like a little storage, something you can pay for. I know it sounds crazy, but you just never know. Or hide it somewhere in your house, not under the bed, because people tend to hide things every time there. So they find
I definitely know. And every
yeah,
piece of one I took pictures of, I got them all
yeah,
saved up like as in a jury box, like it's jury. It's
right.
not jury. It's all my jury that I done paid off to y'all.
You always try to get rid. Like we did a podcast, I want to say 2 years
Mhm.
ago with Alyssa, and she said if you get money, get a receipt in the other hand. And it's true. I make sure I have. That's why I don't like to pay in cash. I like to pay everything with my card if I can, because it's documented on
Paper
my
trail.
stuff. In
Paper
case,
trail.
God forbid, my place burned down, I would never want to wish out anybody on myself. But God forbid that
Mm-hmm.
happened. I at least got Chase telling me, girl, you pay your rent on this day. You pay on that. I pay night to work my checking account every month. I don't play. I know for a fact what I paid. You can't say nothing got lost in the mail. You can't no, because you got it. It's electronic. But it's not every time you have that option to do that. So if you're paying on, people pay on Zelle. People pay on Cash App, which I call it the scamming app. People pay on Venmo. Do it electronically if you can, but if not, you need to have a paper receipt in your hand. And when you get a
Yeah,
paper
and that's
receipt,
why I
if you
always
lose it,
feel
take
like
a
paper
picture.
trails.
Take a picture, because people are just so scared. Like, she didn't pay me the rent, and you don't have. And when you go to the judge, the judges, no matter how many they want to believe you, and probably even if the person has a if this person has been in court before, they could see that person being in court for the situation. But if you're the first
Mm-hmm.
time they're going to court, they don't have nothing to. They don't know who to believe, because they don't know you. They don't know the other person. They're gonna take somebody's word for it, and it's like people would think right in the right mind would a landlord come to court and say they're not getting paid and they're getting paid. Some people it's horrible people. So make
Yeah,
sure you have a paper trail. Make sure
I
if you
keep
have
it.
another witness there, have that witness. Not for their side, for your side, so you can say, oh, every month this person got their stuff. You just
And
don't know.
remind you, I asked the super. The super said, "Oh, I could put his money directly in his account." And in my head, I'm like, "Okay, so why can't I get those account numbers to direct my
Right.
own money in there?" He like, "Oh, you could give it to me, and I could send it off to him. Give you
Sound
my
like a
rent.
scam to me. Sound like a
Give you
scam
my
to me.
rent. I'm not giving you my rent. If you're gonna give me the account numbers, then I could go put it in there. I
Exactly.
can't take no money out of his account. All I do is have the account numbers and be like, can you deposit this in here? That's it.
Exactly.
Why everything it seems so hard for me. So when they do start with that, oh, they never got their rent. Well, I never got any information to just direct deposit it to you because I'm over here mailing it out. Mail runs slow in December. It's about to start running slow again because it's tax time, packages and stuff
Right.
is coming through. I don't know what else to tell you. You have to wait. You
And
have to
also, if
wait.
you can, email and text messages, because in court those are still good because it's written proof. Good word
Yeah,
of
I
mouth
have
is
all the
cute.
messages in my son's phone from there.
Yeah, you
and I
have
have
to
the
know you keep
messages
it
in
real
my
too.
phone.
Yes.
And I
Even
asked
things
him, I
like
was like,
continue.
do you have like any direct deposit to him? He was like, I have the direct deposit. So if you have the direct deposit, tell me
Right.
what bank to go to. Give me the account number so I can deposit my money in there every month, and I don't have to feel like, oh, it's gonna get lost in the mail. Oh, he never got this one. Oh, I'm just waiting to see like a rent receipt or something on what I owe or if I owe anything, because I don't owe nothing. I paid y'all every month I've been here.
Exactly. So I have a question. But you didn't go to shelter like some of the other people that, but stuff could still affect your kids. Do you think the situation you went through affected kids at all, or you think they just kind of they rolling with the punches? Because honestly, kids are very resilient. We don't get as credit, but they still go through things. They still have feelings. They're still people like everybody else. Do you think does anything affected them from what you had? And
My 9-year-old, things affected him. Like he wanted his own place. He wanted to be in his own apartment so bad that it really took a toll on him. That it took a toll on me. Like, okay, now I have to be up finding this place every
right,
morning. I would cut out my morning after I dropped him off to school for like at least 2 hours to research, call numbers, to look for stuff, to go on apartment hunting, anything. So it did affect my oldest. My youngest, he didn't really know much about it, but he was grateful to have a place because for Thanksgiving, his teacher asked him what he was grateful for, and he wrote it like, I'm grateful to have my own room, which he don't have his own room. He shared with his brother, and he don't get out of my bed. He sleep in my bed every day. I don't understand how you enjoy
I
your
know how you feel. I know how you feel.
room. I don't know how you enjoy your room. I don't own my own TV. I don't own nothing in my room. Everything is shared with him. I can't watch TV, nothing. He snatched my remote and start acting crazy. Like, that's mine. I was
The
watching it.
audacity.
But it's my serenity because they're here in their own place. I'm in
Right.
my own place. Nobody can tell me what to do.
Exactly.
I don't have to take judgmental opinions from people. And don't get me wrong. Listen, don't get me wrong. Family, when you need some help, they can help you to an extent. But when you in their space, it's a different story.
It's
So
true.
I can never go back homeless after. Let me never say never. I can't ever go back homeless because why? I didn't already got a touch and a taste of what it's like to have your own. And I don't see myself nowhere else but in my own.
Right. It's definitely true. It's nothing like having your own place and have your own space. You don't got to be walking on eggshells. You got to share no bathroom with somebody else because everybody don't do the same thing like you do. Like it's just having your own is just it's something special. Like
It's a blessing.
it is.
It's a
It really
blessing
is.
to put your key in your own
Yes.
door and to walk over that threshold. Like everything in this place belongs to me. I am the
Right.
head of the household. And it felt good for me to say that because I've been trying to get an apartment for like 9 years. I took my whole 20s on dedicating to get an apartment. And finally, the year when I'm 30, I actually have peace to be like, I have a place. It wasn't easy. Trust me, it was not easy. I went through bumps, struggles, roads, roadblocks, everything. Um, for me to get this apartment. And now that I have it, I don't see myself losing it because it's everything that me and my kids ever wanted. So now I'm just like, okay, right now I'm just looking for the better. Maybe I can get something better than this. Only
Right.
thing I'm looking from here is to move on up to be somewhere better.
Got
That's
it.
all.
It's definitely true. And it's like you said it's 9 years. That's 9 years only with family then, I assume.
Um, I spent I spent 3 years with I lived with my sister because our mother had passed away and she left us the apartment.
Condolences.
Once, you get over things and you get older, things don't seem the same to you anymore. So
Right.
you grow up from it. I was already pregnant with my second son. I was like, I'm in a room with my other son, and my son's father had a whole house.
Right.
Like he had a whole house. It was a family house. Like family lived on the second floor, the third floor, but we was on the first floor. So I felt like, okay, now I'm not saying that this is where I'm gonna live at for permanent. It gives me a start on feeling like this is my own.
Right.
And then, as long as, things start to get worse and rough and stuff like that, then you have to go through other changes. Like, okay, now I have to find me a place. Now I have to hurry up and get the place. Things like that had happened. And I'm not saying it was the worst experience, but I say that it should never took me 9 years of my 20s. 29. I'm 29 today. I will be 30
Happy
March
birthday.
23rd. No, I'll be 30 March 23rd. That's my
Oh,
birthday. But
happy upcoming birthday. Yes.
yes. And it just like, it took me a long time. And I'm like, nobody should never, ever have to search and spend 9 years on trying to get a place. Not saying I had a voucher at that time, but before I had the voucher, before I knew about a voucher, I was looking on my own.
Right.
Like we were saying, Housing Connect. Nothing I like. Nothing. You never get picked, never get called. You must make a certain amount of money to get called on there. And I was just like, let me just get this voucher and see if it can help me out some more. And it did help me a little. It helped me. It helped me a lot because I'm in my own place now.
Right.
But it's just a struggle with it. It's a lot of stuff that you have to do. You have to be aware of. You have to know. You have to be educated on, so you don't get played. Because New York City will humble you for real. It will
Yeah.
definitely do. New York City will humble you.
If you could make it here, you could, like they say, you could make it anywhere because
Yes, but
it's a
in that mix
concrete
of you making it,
jungle.
you will be humbled. In that mix of making it, you will humble yourself. Like, listen, I'm good on this. I'm
Right.
fine. I'm right where I'm at right now. I'm content. I'm good.
Exactly. It is so true. Living here is a different, like, I would never want to move anywhere else. People like, they want to move out of here. I'm like, mm-mm. It is nothing like New York City. It's always something happening. Granted, and I live in, as I said earlier, I live in a good amount of the boroughs, which is only 5. So I live out 4 to 5 of them. And it's nothing like New York and not like Brooklyn, to be honest, to me. And I lived in Queens 20 something years. So I could definitely, I think, compare because I only lived here for a couple of years. I think 6 years I lived in Brooklyn. So I live in this particular apartment. It's about to be 5 years now. So, but yeah, it's it's a lot. And as she said, it took her a long time and it shouldn't have took her that long, but she learned a lot in that process. She know what to
Mm-hmm.
teach her kids, and I think that's a lot of things we don't think about. Like, we go through this journey to honestly help other people. It's not all about always self. It's to help. She's teaching you right now what she went through, so hopefully you don't have to take 9 years to do it. It might not take you 9 years, it might take you about 8 years, but at least the numbers getting counted down. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like she could help herself, she could help you, she could help her kids, and what to teach them, because obviously next 10 years things are going to be different. She have her sons and things like that. She could have her baby. Things are going to change, but she's going to understand what should I know to tell my kids to do, what can help them out. Should they start with CityFHEPs first? Maybe by then they have a different thing for them. They could come out of her house and she could have her 2 bedroom. If she's, I don't know if she's still going to be there, I doubt it, but she could help her kids get on a better feet. And like, example, if you don't know, my family's Jamaican, so I'm first generation, um, I guess US American, and not guess, that's what I am. And my mother doesn't know that much about the country. She came
Mm-hmm.
here, she worked in the school, she's a cafeteria lady. She started in, I want to say, Miami, things like that. Like, she doesn't know anything, even about college. I'm the first one to go to university and I'm not even using my degree, but I was the first one going to university. So it was like I learned enough things. My mother only knew a little bit of stuff. I kind of helped my brother too, we're 7 years apart. And I learned things to help my brother as much as I can from what I know, because we're only 7 years, I'm like we're 20 years apart, but I'm only 7 years apart. And I'm helping my kids when they get older what to do. What should I think I didn't learn as a child that I wouldn't know now? What should kind of things like that. So I think we just don't go through experiences, it's hard just for ourselves. It's to help somebody else out there and help hopefully make our community better. You know what I'm saying? Not only just the Black community, just the world in general. That's how I feel. It's not like I'm working for just one person. I'm working for everybody who wants to hear and listen and get better in themselves. That's how I think about things in life. A lot of people I feel, especially nowadays, is all about color this, color that. To me, I didn't grow up like in that world and that mindset, and my people, I feel like, honestly don't think about it like that most times. So I feel like that's how I grew up. But I grew up about just helping people in general. We all bleed the same. We all have different experiences, and we just help each other to be better people. But
Yes.
that's how I see
I just wonder, like, when I do get a transfer, like, how is it gonna be? like how is it gonna be, or how is it gonna be to add another kid on, or how like what's the process that I'm gonna have to go through to get a transfer? So I have to do all of this stuff over again, and
Kind of.
that scares me. It scares me. It
Adding a kid
actually,
is the easy part. To transfer is the hard part from what I hear.
yeah. But what I can say is that I'll be in my own place while I'm waiting for a transfer.
That's
So I
definitely
won't
true.
be bunking up with nobody, or I won't be in nobody else's place. I will be in my own space until I get a transfer, approved for a transfer, and I can start searching. But other than that, it's scary to me to be like, okay, now you're gonna have to get a transfer. You're gonna have to get another baby added on. It's gonna be a lot. Like, how what you think you're gonna go through this time? And I'm like, please, I'm not ready for it yet.
I
I'm
think
gonna
adding the baby is going to be honestly the easiest part. The transfer, I think, is going to be the hard part. I just feel like in general, HRA to add a child is easier. As long as you have a birth certificate and a social, you're pretty much good. And it's in there, and then you could get an updated letter or whatever. But I think adding a baby would be easy. Everything else, I think, would be harder.
and I
But yeah,
wouldn't know how it go about because I have two boys and I'm pregnant with a little girl. So maybe when that little girl get a certain of age, then that's when they'll really take matters seriously. Like, okay, baby can't share no room with no boys. So how is it about like you get a transfer or anything like that? But if I'm adding another kid on and it's a girl, they have no choice but to seek me out for a transfer because where is she sleeping? She could share a room with me, of course, but what about having a three-bedroom? Because I have an older son who's 9 years old who don't want to be sharing a room with a 4-year-old. So, and a 4-year-old not gonna want to share no room with a baby. So
I understand. I understand. I get it. I don't think it would be that bad. I think the hardest part, honestly, out of all of it, is transferring and finding the apartment. People who are actually going to take the voucher. I think, the hard part. But I wish you best with it. Like honestly, do you do any other advocacy work out there that like podcast? Well, probably not podcast. Not everybody does podcasts, but like talking about your experience and just like helping the community and things like that.
that's what I'm a part of now. I'm a part of a housing task force, and
Ooh, I didn't know
I,
that.
I'm learning about like to speak to higher people that's like controlling the businesses and stuff like that, or speaking to lots of landlords and stuff like that, or getting into being an advocate for CityFHEPs and newcomers and what the voucher could change and what could we change about the voucher or what apartments could we be able to get and not just standards apartments or not being in a category of different people because we're not making the same as them or
Right.
we're not the same as them or we're not from that neighborhood because community you have to some people want you to live in a community so you can get the community rights and you can move
Right.
to any building that's in the community. That's what I'm trying to help people on. So I'm a part of a housing task force. Mieta,
Meta, yeah. I know
yes.
you mean.
She's a huge support to the housing, the newcomers for CityFHEPs and stuff like that. She's another. If I wish I would have knew her at the time of me searching, but due to the fact that I know her now,
Yeah.
I don't think that I would have a lot of problems on trying to get a transfer or anything like that. But I'm working with a couple of people to, like fix the CityFHEPs problems that we have going on before anybody else decides to do the voucher and stuff like that. We can maybe help fix some things about the voucher before they have to deal with the struggles that we went through.
Right. That's pretty cool. How did it come out to you like by accident or did you go out seeking or did people seek you? How did people find you to even do this work? Because they found me because it honestly was a YouTube. But how did they find you to get you into this work? It kind of fell in my lap.
Okay, it fell on my lap too. I'm not even gonna lie. It fell on my lap. I was just thinking about a $500 Target gift card. That's all I was thinking about, but it wasn't that.
That's a good amount. I'm not gonna lie.
I had asked like there's like any because everybody like I was in this group on Facebook and everybody who got their apartment and did everything successfully, they had got either $500 gift card or they joined a part of a group that was going to pay them in the ending of the group to list the experiences and list what they went through or any type of struggles they had during the process of them getting the apartment.
Got
So
it.
I felt like they was talking directly to me, like, okay, you want me to
Right.
tell you what happened? I'm definitely gonna tell y'all what happened. But
Exactly.
I felt like my case manager, who I had as a case manager for home base, she had sent me a link. I'm just waking up, getting my kids to school. So I click on the link and I'm reading it and I'm reading it. And then in about a week, I had a meeting with Mieta and she was telling me, she explained it to me, and she would say that we would speak to landlords in the buildings and stuff like that. And I was just like, dang, this is my transfer right
Right.
here. This is gonna be my transfer right here. But it's good. Like it wasn't a bad experience to it's not a bad experience to help somebody else so they don't experience the same things that you went through. It's all about helping and telling people what don't go what not to go through so you can be, you know, good. So somebody don't have to go through what I went through or the sleepless nights that I went through because I'm trying to, make sure that all my ducks are in a row or I have everything in order when I go see this apartment or making sure I don't say the wrong thing when I go on this interview to look at an apartment, because
Right.
some landlords are biased. And I'm not even gonna lie, some landlords are biased, some of them are racist, some of them don't want you to have this apartment because maybe your skin color is black, or maybe you Asian, maybe you white, maybe whatever you are, they
Right.
have preferences that they want inside their home.
It's true. It's definitely true. But that sounds so cool. Like, oh my gosh. I didn't I think I knew about a task force like that, but I didn't really hear the in depth of what's, happening. But that is pretty cool. That you have like it seems like you have fun in it and like it kind of in the world that it's for you. It fits what you are doing and what you have actually went through. So it makes sense. It makes sense. That sounds pretty
Yeah,
cool.
just as long as you could give your experience to somebody so they don't have to go through the same thing. Because, it's probably somebody who's not as strong as me out here and that's melting down every day or feeling like they never find nothing. Or you have some people that has like mental health issues who can't stand to, communicate and do all of this stuff that they doing with the landlords and stuff like that. Or they probably can't talk a direct talk with somebody without, getting frustrated or showing a bad side or anything like that. So, you want to give somebody help. Like, okay, this voucher, it will aggravate you, but you have to know what to do with it. You
Right.
have to know what to do with it. You have to know your sources and everything, like who you could talk to or anything like that. And now knowing Mieta, I feel like she's a good asset to CityFHEPs, and she's not a part of CityFHEPs. She don't work for CityFHEPs at all. She just, a task force of housing. She's just more like help you with housing to speak to lawyers and stuff like that. So that's why I feel like she's a good
Fit.
asset to
Yeah.
helping
That sounds
anybody.
good. That sounds good. So, do you have any last words you would like to tell people about your experience or what it should do? And if you could change something, what would it be in your experience? Or would you keep everything just the same?
I would say for me to have more patience. I would say for me to have more patience and to know what I know now, and not, get messed up in any other situations that don't have anything to do with CityFHEPs, you know. So if I knew what I knew now or what I knew then, I would, change that about what I went through. I would say have more patience. I would say listen. I would say observe, take notes, take pictures, take everything. Like be aware of things and make sure that it's something that you want. Just don't take it because you just want to get out.
Right. That's true. I like it. So, guys, we have come to the end of the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it. I hope you can have some takeaways. You might not take everything away because everybody's experience is definitely different. But I hope you're able to take things that can help you or somebody else or somebody in your family. You never know the information you take in when it can help you. Because you're like, oh shoot, 2 years ago, I remember. Let me go back to this podcast and listen and really get the information in. Granted, things might change in 2 years because just who would have thought Corona would have came for us in 2020? We thought that was gonna be the bomb year, but it wasn't the greatest. But it could have been worse. Honestly, it's crazy
This was
times.
my first podcast ever being on. Like I never been on a podcast before. This was the first podcast I ever been on. Like ever been
Thank you for
on.
being our guest, though. You're gonna be the first guest of the year for 2020. So we are happy to have you. Probably gonna be in 2 different parts. But guys, before we wrap up, I just thank you guys for coming and thank you for listening. Whatever platform you're listening on, thank you for coming. Share us out on social media, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. If you have any questions that you want me to answer, please DM us and we could probably gonna do a full video of it or a TikTok of it, depending how in depth the question is gonna be. And check us out. Thank you for listening. See you next time. Bye.
Thank